Morning. Coffee. I just woke up. It's my first cup of coffee. Happy Monday or whatever. Pretty tired. For anybody that I haven't told yet, I don't have cancer in the area that they checked. It doesn't actually rule out anything in the rest of my body, but for all intents and purposes, it doesn't look like I have cancer. So that's good. The colonoscopy didn't find out anything else. So other than just proving that I don't have cancer, I guess it didn't really do much. But that's good news. That's good news. I mean, that was the news I was expecting. I told my doctors and the gastroenterologist, I just feel like a guinea pig because you keep doing tests on me that come up negative. And they keep saying, well, we have to rule this out. We have to rule this out. But now that they've done that, there's no more tests. There's nothing. I got prescribed an antidepressant, which might help relieve pain, except one of the filler ingredients in the pill is something that I'm ridiculously allergic to, so I can't take it. I mean, I didn't go get it filled. My doctor knows that I look up everything before I try it. So he literally was like, "Okay, now I want you to check this out, and if you want to try this prescription, it's waiting for you, and just call our office. We'll send it over." And I looked it up. It took me 2 seconds to look up that it has a major thing that I'm allergic to. What is this doctor getting paid for again? I mean, this is my regular doctor. This is a gastroenterologist. And he wants me to see a dietitian to start a diet that he put me on 5 years ago. I'm on the diet. I've been sticking to the diet this whole time. I have explained to my doctor what the diet is, and he copied my notes to give to other patients. So I'm really happy and really excited about the whole, medical industry right now. It's not the doctors themselves or the nurses. I love them. I think they do a great job. They're just doing this selfless thing, but they're stuck in this machine that doesn't fucking work. I know that most of that money is going to go to the hospital administration, whoever owns the building, honestly. I don't think that this exorbitant amount of money that it costs, fortunately covered by insurance, I don't think that money is going to the right place, honestly. But I don't have cancer. Yay. It'd be, I would have been astonished with how much cannabis I consume. There's, anything inside my body. But, we haven't accepted that this plant with overwhelming amount of evidence cures cancer because, we don't want to look at that. Go look at Israel's medical work on cannabis and cancer. It's really great. But anyway, I don't have cancer. So I'm back to square one. And I've been misdiagnosed with a bunch of things, and I've been re-diagnosed, misdiagnosed, re-diagnosed. Different, oh, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here. So we were looking for something that would make more sense than just a bunch of random guesses. But here I am. I'm in the random guess section. So, anyway, okay. A little bummed about that. And the procedure itself. So I had a lot of people just be like, "Oh, the prep is the worst part. Once you're over that, it's fine. That's terrible. That part's horrible. That part is just awful, and I hated it." The prep for the colonoscopy was like being hungry sucked. The whole rest of it was nothing compared to what I deal with on a weekly basis. It was nothing. It was less painful than what I deal with on a regular basis. And I don't understand where my pain tolerance is at. where I don't think that's a big deal and everybody else is telling me it's a huge deal. Yeah, I guess I'm just typically in a lot more pain than y'all realize. You guys, I mean, I'm really frustrated. And I understand that my doctor sees just tons of people every day, and I only see him every once in a while. And he's got all these other patients. It's not like he can remember me as a person and care about me as a person. It's not a good system. It's not a good system. So when he prescribes me medicine that I've been allergic to the last more than 5 years, I feel a little insulted personally. But it's not the doctor's job to care about you as a person, so it's a little bit whatever. After the procedure, kind of painful, because I didn't actually want to eat food again. Turns out I'm in a lot less pain when I got no fucking food in my system. But I gotta eat, so I'm gonna smoke some weed. Yay! Still need to quit for a while. So the other thing, I get this racing brain stuff really interfering with my sleep. And one thing that's coming up a lot, this theme, is excuses versus reasons. What is an excuse and what's a reason? Because lots of people have excuses, and yet there are legitimate reasons to not do things. Me not quitting smoking so that I can eat, in a way that's an excuse, because I could probably find a different form or get a vaporizer where the smoke isn't actually going to damage my lungs. I could get a vaporizer if I saved up or whatever. And therefore I would be vaporizing instead of smoking, and I could do something more healthy for my lungs. So not quitting is an excuse. If I had diabetes and I wasn't eating sugar, that's a reason. That's not an excuse. It's legit. Your blood sugar level will try to kill you. You can't eat it. That's a reason. If you put something off and you force yourself into a position where you don't have a choice, this is where it gets tricky. Because then you had excuses that turned into a reason only because of your other excuses. So your final reason is actually an excuse. And what I mean by that, and why I get very sick of this in other people, because I've struggled with this a lot too. I really hate to be on the receiving end of this. So it's like, let's take a school example. Say you have an assignment for school, and you're given 3 weeks to do this assignment. And then, you don't do it the first 2.5 weeks. And then you plan on doing it the last 3 days. And then, another event happens. There's a snow day or something, the internet goes out. Suddenly you don't have a way to finish your paper. If you had 3 weeks to do something and you waited till the last couple of days, and in the last couple of days you can't get it done, you kind of fucked yourself off. Like, you kind of fucked off all that other time. Like, you kind of don't legitimately get to use that reason because you wasted your own time in the beginning. So that's like the growth of an excuse. That's another example. I know some people, like my sister's real bad about this. She won't take care of her car because she doesn't have enough money. But she'll go and she'll put a speaker sound and stuff, speaker system and other sound stuff in her car, but she won't get an oil change because she doesn't have enough money. And then when the car starts to make funny noises because it hasn't had an oil change in a very long time, she'll take it to the shop and they'll say, well, it's going to cost $300 to fix that, or your car's going to break down. She said, I don't have enough money. Then the car breaks down. Suddenly, she needs a new car. It's over $1,000. She doesn't have the money. And so, who was it? I think my mom bought her another car. I've never had a vehicle bought for me, but my sister fucked up her first car that was bought for her in that exact way and got another car bought for her because she needed a car to get to work and she didn't have enough money to buy another car. Therefore, she had to have someone buy her a car. Get a fucking oil change. Like, it's your fault in the first place. All of these reasons are just excuses. They're just really drawn out excuses. It's like $30 a year and a half earlier, you would have had a car. As opposed to, I totally fucked the thing that I had, and now I have to have another one. Is it true that she had a job and she had to have a ride to work? Yes. Is it true that she had to have a car and she had to have a car to get around and do all this stuff? Yes. But she had a car, she fucked it up from stupid fucking excuses. I don't have enough money. Well, where the fuck did your, subwoofer come from? It doesn't cost that much to get a fucking oil change. So that shit, as you can tell, really pissed me off when my sister did it. This was like 10 years ago. I'm still pissed about this. Anyway, it's been a theme lately. And I put myself to the test too. Am I making excuses? Are these reasons or are these excuses? And I don't know. I don't really give myself the benefit of the doubt. I tend to think that I'm trying to use anything for an excuse, and then I just go full sail the opposite direction. Does that even smell like an excuse? I'm going the opposite direction. And that's not exactly ideal either. I'm not saying that either. So that's where I try to figure it out. Because if you never give yourself an excuse, or you can never find a valid reason, like when I come down with a fever, that's where I draw the line. Okay, I have an excuse not to go to work today. It's not an excuse. It's a fucking fever. And yet I still feel guilty. I still feel like I'm using an excuse. In reality, don't go to work with a fever. It's a bad idea. It doesn't matter what job you're doing. You shouldn't go to work with a fever. But yeah, it all comes down to personal responsibility. But I think we have a societal responsibility as well. Calling bullshit on people and calling people out is necessary in a sense. But I think we have to do it in a more loving way, obviously, or it just doesn't get the point across. It's something I never could do. I could never communicate that to my sister. And so I struggle with that with myself. So when I'm trying to hold myself accountable, I'm not even being nice then. It's all connected. How we speak to ourselves and how we hold ourselves accountable extends to the rest of the community, extends to our relationships, whether we want it to or not. Your internal dialogue and what you say to yourself when you make a typo is probably going to be what you say to a coworker or a friend when you see them make a typo. Is it you're such a fucking idiot. How can you fucking, you don't know how to fucking spell a word. If you say that to yourself, chances are you're going to say it to other people. You might be meaner to yourself. You might be more cruel to yourself than to other people, but it's still, the attitude is still there. And that's still how we treat other people. Yeah. You see how depressed and anxious people can be feeling and kind of hopeless, and we treat each other like it's kind of hopeless too sometimes. Like, why bother telling my friend such and such a truth that might kind of hurt their feelings when they might not listen anyway. Why should I call them out? You know, I've always said a true friend will tell me what I'm doing wrong. You know, a true friend would be like, even if it's hard to say, even if it's hard for me to hear, I'd rather know, okay, hey, it looks like you're screwing up there, or you kind of committed a logical fallacy, or whatever. I'd rather hear that from a friend than an enemy, honestly. But it's hard. It's hard to say it in a nice way. You know, it's also hard to open yourself up to criticism because if you call somebody out, you have to be ready for them to be like, "Oh yeah, well you do that thing." You know, you may not see it, but if you go and call somebody out, they will just gladly pay you back. So I think we're afraid of that in this country. We're afraid of, calling out people that might not be able to accept it and getting called out ourselves. Um, but it leads to all these fucking excuses. I'm just so sick of the excuses. Like, what is the problem? Like, I don't even. There are people dying of cancer right now that aren't using their excuses. There's people out there, traveling the world like I want to do, and they're dying. I don't have an excuse. You know, there's people out there that are poorer than I am, that are sicker than I am, doing more. I don't have an excuse. But who's to say? I mean, I don't want to be the one going around being a dick to people if they're having a rough time either. But somewhere the personal accountability has to happen. I don't know the answer to that one. I mean, that's why I'm not sleeping that well. I've got all of these thoughts going in my head, and then I say to myself, you know, some sleep might help your brain because that's your processing unit, and it's like low energy, and you've been really thinking about a lot of shit. Maybe you should just like sleep. And I go, yeah, that's a good idea, brain. Why don't you just shut the fuck up? And then I say to myself, that's not nice. I shouldn't say that. Okay, but seriously though, can we just sleep? Because I just can't stop this thing. I think I had a bunch of really weird dreams. Yeah, I did. I had some weird dreams. I had a dream where it was me and a couple other girls at the top of the stairs, and this guy that lives in my apartment building is coming up the stairs and he's carrying something heavy. And we're kind of blocking his way, but he's kind of not asking us to move. And we stand there long enough, and the stairs slide and then collapse, and they just break. Probably, I mean, I guess in the dream, the weight of all the people on the stairs, like four people, these dream stairs couldn't handle it. And I remember thinking it's distinctly kind of the dude's fault. But why? Why are the stairs to where? I never saw the second part of the building. I was just on these random stairs. I don't even think the stairs were inside a building. Anyway, weird dreams. So I did sleep eventually, but there's so much going on. There's so much going on. Oh. I could have got up in the middle of the night and smoked to calm myself down and go back to sleep, but I didn't. I meditated instead. I did some good meditation. That's probably why I was actually able to sleep. But now I'm going. I got my drugs. And, my excuses and my reasons. And I'm just going to have to keep on keeping on. Go with the flow. Anyway, happy Monday. Let me know what you struggled with. Maybe you have a little problem that you fight with yourself. Mine is excuses. I fight with myself over excuses all the time. Let me know in the comments or email me or whatever. I'm just curious. Just curious. It's kind of kicking around in my brain right now. Probably going to read some articles on it or something. Anyway, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. And thanks again to my patrons. It's going strong. 6th month of Patreon. patreon.com/Anamolly, ANAMOLLY. And I'm really surprised that I've been able to keep it up, but I'm really happy. So thank you for the support. Adios, muchachos.